Hi everybody and welcome back. Today is Thursday, March 19th, and it's a dreary, rainy day, and I thought, hey, let's bring some color into the picture today. So we're going to talk about art, maybe a little bit about the business of art. And I have two examples of paintings that I'd like to talk about today. Not necessarily because they're my favorite artists of all time, although I do like them, but they're examples of artists that really didn't start off as painters. And for one reason or another, they decided to pick up on the craft and were able to find something that they love to do and succeed at it. Both of these paintings can be found at the Met, and the Met is an art museum, the big art museum in New York City. So when all of this quarantine is done and you have a chance to go to a museum and you live in the Northeast and you don't have to fly, go down to the Met. It's a fabulous place. So the first artwork that I have, and again, if you go to the Met and Google this, you'll be able to see the full picture. This is just a piece of the full picture. But Paul Gauguin painted this art, did this painting, and it's called Siesta. And Siesta is a depiction of life in Tahiti. So Paul Gauguin was a French artist, and he didn't start off as a painter. He started off as a stockbroker, of all things, a business person. And what ended up happening is there was a big stock market crash in France in 1882, and Gauguin was out of luck. But during that time as a stockbroker, he met somebody who taught him how to paint. It was actually supposed to be a stress relief for him. So the stock market crashed, and luckily he had a little bit of experience painting. And when he wasn't working anymore, he decided he was going to paint full time. And his style is post-impressionism. Maybe some of you have studied Monet and Manet, that very straight up impressionist, that airy kind of painting, a lot of dots, a lot of pastels. Well, Gauguin tried to move beyond that and tried to be a little clearer in his brushstroke, so to speak. So here's the Siesta, which I find interesting about the Siestas. If you, again, research it, he took a lot of time painting this, and he changed it so many times. Maybe some of you take art class at Algonquin and you paint a painting and you don't like it and you want to paint over it, but you don't want to waste your time. Waste your time. Because this particular painting, this woman here, the woman who's the center of this piece, was wearing a red dress, and he painted it over. In this little basket, there's a basket of fruit. That used to be a dog. I don't know why. Why would you paint over a dog, and now it's a basket? I probably would have preferred the dog. But it depends on what kind of dog it is. I'm partial to the Yorkies. But in any case, he spent a lot of time painting this piece. He also got very disheartened with Western culture. He spent a lot of time in France and a lot of time in Paris, and he didn't like what was happening. So he fled to Tahiti, and he hung out with the Tahitian people. And ironically, these women are wearing Western-style clothing. And it got to a point where Gauguin couldn't escape to his paradise, the Polynesian Islands, anymore. And he ended up going back to France to continue to paint. He died not happy because, again, he wanted paradise. He wanted to be in a place where Western civilization wasn't impacting or didn't have any influence, but he couldn't find it. One of his most expensive pieces, so this is Gauguin, and about, I don't remember how long ago, but he was able, not he died, and one of his pieces sold recently for $210 million. And it was a depiction of two Tahitian women. So $210 million was Gauguin's most expensive piece. He didn't see that in his lifetime, he died, but still a nice chunk of change to pull in. This next artwork was done by Matisse. I think maybe Matisse is a more familiar artist. He technically is one of the most famous colorists in the 20th century. He started as a post-impressionist, but then actually arguably founded the movement of Fauvism. And Fauvism is different from post-impressionism because with Fauvism, a lot of the artists took the paint, the tube of paint, and squeezed it on the canvas to paint. So they're bold colors, really hard lines. It's very emotional painting. And Henri Matisse, again, is a French painter. This particular painting is called Fishing Boats, and it was done about 1905. And Matisse also started painting by chance. When he was a little bit younger, he got appendicitis. He lived in a very small two-room or two-bedroom cottage in France. His parents weren't very wealthy, and he got sick, and he was kind of forced to stay in his house for a long period of time. So his mother gave him some art supplies, and he started painting. And I find which I love this concept or belief or quote that I stumbled upon about Henry. He loved art so much that when he proposed to his fiancée, he said to her, "I love you dearly, but you need to remember, I'll always love painting more." What a romantic. Imagine marrying that. Hey, at least he was honest. So he went on, Henri Matisse, to paint a gazillion things. And he traveled the world. He went to Japan. He went to Morocco. He loved Morocco so much. His most expensive piece actually ended up selling for $80 million recently. So we have an artist that sold a painting again after he died for $210 million, an artist that sold a painting when he passed for $80 million. But these aren't the most expensive artists to sell a painting or artwork to sell. The most expensive artwork sold for $400 million, and it was a Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci. And it was a depiction of Jesus, and it was titled Salvator Mundi for $400 million. Imagine having so much money that you can buy a little piece of artwork for $400 million. Unbelievable. So you kids that are at home right now and are doodling and are sketching and are drawing and you're saying to yourself, "Oh, I'm just having fun." Maybe you're not. Maybe you are having fun. And at the same time, maybe you'll be gazillionaires. So during this time of quarantine, save your sketches, save your paintings, save your sculptures, because you never know how much they're going to be worth. And if you haven't started painting, if you haven't started doing anything during this time of quarantine, pick something up. Look at Gauguin. He was a stockbroker. He was a numbers guy. He didn't even know about this yet until he picked up a paintbrush and put it to canvas. Do it, people. Try something new. And until next time, have a wonderful day.